Pittsburgh police have plans in place to make sure roads are safe on New Year's Eve. I'm Melissa Alexis, and I'll have the story coming up.
Plus, local organizations react to the passing of former President Jimmy Carter. And police seek information on a vehicle regarding last week's dumpster overfill in Afton, Oklahoma.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Jimmy Carter passed away Sunday, surrounded by family in his home in Plains, Georgia. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker. Jimmy Carter passed away Sunday, surrounded by family. The 39th president was 100 years old. Brian Abel is in Plains with details on how he's being honored.
From Georgia peanut farmer to president, Jimmy Carter's legacy spans 100 years. Leaders around the world remembering his remarkable life.
Jill and I lost a dear friend. What I find extraordinary about Jimmy Carter, though, is that millions of people all around the world, all over the world, feel they lost a friend as well.
Carter grew up in Plains, Georgia. He became governor and was elected president in 1976 and lost re-election to Republican Ronald Reagan in 1980. But it was his life post-presidency that laid the bricks for his legacy. He is remembered as a passionate humanitarian and a pioneer of human rights. He and his wife, Rosalind, founded the Carter Center to carry out their mission.
He was one of the first to turn his back on dictators who were not supporting human rights.
In 2002, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his decades of work to establish peaceful solutions to international conflicts. He also spent decades volunteering for Habitat for Humanity.
A great global statesperson, and the world's going to honor him, but he also was down home all about the state of Georgia.
Outside the Carter Presidential Center, mourners leaving flowers and notes. People in his hometown of Plains remembering him.
President Carter has been an international influence, but some of his greatest influence, he and Mrs. Carter's, has been right here in Plains, Georgia.
In Plains, Georgia, Brian Abel reporting.
Although President Jimmy Carter may no longer be with us, his legacy continues. The 39th president dedicated much of his life advocating for affordable housing, working to provide quality homes for those in need, and much more. KOAM's Lonnie Walton went to Joplin to get reactions from the residents regarding his passing.
Obviously, I have a heavy heart over the loss of President Carter.
Barbie Huff is the Director of Family Services at the Joplin Area Habitat for Humanity. She says President Carter's death is really pulling at her heart, and not just because of his accomplishments, but just because of who he was.
He was a fantastic humanitarian, very kind, decent, wonderful man who devoted his life to being a servant leader.
39th President's legacy lives on through Habitat for Humanity, where he helped build over 4,000 homes. In 2019, he helped build his last home. He was 95.
They were wonderful at carpentry and painting and doing anything that was necessary at the projects.
Resident Jonathan Stewart says Carter was the only president he ever shook hands with. He says, like Duff, he was a very kind man.
He was very pleasant man. He went out of his way to shake as many hands as possible.
And although Huff never actually met him, she got close enough when he spoke at an event that she attended.
We tried to get, as close to the front as we could, so we had like third row. It's great. It was very heartwarming, very, just almost took your breath away.
And others agree with Huff.
Yeah, it was a visionary. He was seeing alternative energy way before anyone else was realizing it. I hated to see him go.
It kind of depressed me. He was a good man.
And Huff says the president's name associated with Habitat for Humanity really strengthened the company's mission.
Once he got on board with it, the mission and the organization just really expanded.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Although some residents weren't the same political parties as President Carter, they say his hard work and dedication were undeniable. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at the weather.
Well, it actually turned out to be a pretty mild day for us on this Monday. 62 was our high. We started at 38, the record is 70. 45 is where we should be, and that's going to be closer to the number we are going to be as we go into tomorrow and also on New Year's Day. Looking outside right now, it's 51 in Joplin, 50 in Pittsburgh. Most of us upper 40s to lower 50s, kind of a slow drop. We have had a cold front kind of shift through, so we are slowly getting some cooler air in here, but the winds have really picked up. We have northwesterly winds now gusting 30, upwards to 35 miles per hour at times, and it's going to stay windy all night long. We do have the clouds. We may get some drizzle in here, but more of the persistent rain is going to stay up across central parts of Missouri. A lot of changes coming down the road. We're going to be talking about that here in just a bit.
Thanks, Doug. Authorities in Cherokee County responded to a rollover crash this morning. The crash happened just before 10 a.m. On scene, responders discovered a cement mixer truck had overturned near the BNFS track outside of Columbus. Reports say the truck dropped its rear tires off the edge of the road and it pulled the whole truck down. The driver sought medical care for minor injuries. The Afton Police Department needs your help in identifying this vehicle on your screen. Authorities seek information on the vehicle in connection to a dumping incident which took place on Friday. The incident in question resulted in the removal of dumpsters from behind the Afton City Hall. Trash on Friday filled over the dumpster until the excess piled up around the area. Trash services were unable to empty the dumpster as the area was too piled up with garbage to get near it. Authorities believe they may have a suspect who is abusing the public dumpster. They've asked the public for any information regarding the vehicle or the incident. The Joplin Police Department has some sobering advice for drivers and heading into the new year. New Year's Eve will mark a night of celebration for many people in Joplin, and for some people, alcohol will be involved. Captain Will Davis from the Joplin Police Department says there are plenty of options if you plan to make alcohol a part of your New Year's celebration.
Recommend a specific one, but there's plenty of ride-sharing programs, whether it be private taxi services, whatever it may be. There's so many out there and so many options. A lot of establishments will partner with those different businesses to offer those services, especially around times of the holidays. So again, it's one of those where plan ahead of time to know what's available and what options you may have if you get in the situation where you're too intoxicated to be driving.
We'll hear more from Captain Davis tonight on KOAM News at 10. Pittsburgh Police Department is making similar efforts to keep roads safe from driving while intoxicated on New Year's Eve. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on what initiatives they'll be taking.
Your life is worth way more than a New Year's party.
With New Year's right around the corner, many people have plans to enjoy gatherings with family or friends. And Marie Barclay and her granddaughter are no different.
For our family, we often just stay home, throw a big party, don't really go out a whole lot.
But for those that do plan to go out to celebrate, she says it's important to put safety first.
Darkness and 2-lane roads and things like that can be very dangerous. So yes, please get a hotel, go someplace safe.
According to ks.gov, in 2022, Kansas had 2,167 alcohol-related crashes. Sergeant Travis Bowman with Pittsburgh Law Enforcement says to keep roads safe, Pittsburgh is participating in a campaign called Taking Down DUI, which runs from December 26th through January 2nd.
During this time frame, we also have officers out that are specifically focused on traffic and aren't dependent on calls, and they're not having to share traffic enforcement detail with just normal patrol duties. Like, they are specifically out there for traffic.
He says if you plan to drink on New Year's Eve, it's important to have a ride planned in advance.
Having someone come to pick you up, we have multiple rideshare services in town. Just make sure that you don't make enjoying the holidays like a last-minute scheduling thing.
Oftentimes you will find young people or family members who are willing to help you out, be designated driver.
And Barclay's advice to her granddaughter and to others:
have fun, be young, enjoy yourself, but make a plan.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
According to KDOT, during the 2022 to 2023 New Year's Eve holiday period, there were 42 alcohol-related crashes in Kansas. Coming up, another outbreak.
A warning from the CDC, a surge in norovirus cases across the country. I'm Brooke Taylor in Dallas, and I'll have the latest on those outbreaks coming up.
Later, car insurance prices are becoming more expensive and what that means for you.
the best? Prove it at the Vita Nova Village Chili Cook-Off, January.
To help feed the 4 states.
The Centers for Disease Control is warning of a surge in norovirus cases across the country. Fox's Brooke Taylor is in Dallas with the latest on the outbreaks.
3, 2, 1, Happy New Year!
In Times Square, New Year's Eve organizers test the confetti, where nearly 1 million people are expected to gather Tuesday to ring in the start of the new year. But with close proximity comes added risk. The CDC warning that the highly contagious norovirus, commonly spread where people are close together, is on the rise nationwide. Outbreaks recently reported on cruise ships out of New York, as others report noticing more people sick at schools or at work.
Where I live in my building, there's a few people that are sick, a few people at work that got sick last week too. It's going around.
Since early December, the CDC reports a doubling of norovirus cases compared to previous years, also known as the stomach flu. Doctors warn norovirus can cause significant nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea.
What happens is it causes inflammation of the stomach lining and the intestines. And that's where you get the nausea, you get the vomiting, and then you get the diarrhea. And it can really make you feel like you know what.
Most norovirus outbreaks occur when people already infected spread the virus to others, sharing food, drinks, or exposure to contaminated surfaces. Over the holidays, health officials warn it's important to be even more vigilant as families and friends gather in tight spaces.
Hand hygiene is very important and very beneficial, especially for kids. It can be very hard to maintain, but avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and even your food if you are exposed to really any sick contacts, and washing your hands before you do so.
And symptoms typically develop between 12 to 48 hours, and people usually get better between 1 to 3 days. In Dallas, I'm Brooke Taylor, Fox News.
Well, a new drug could bring hope and rest to millions who suffer from a major sleep disorder. The FDA has given approval to the Eli Lilly drug known by the generic name Zepbound for use to treat sufferers of obstructive sleep apnea. Zepbound, which also is the same chemical drug, tirzepatide. Working from home is a perk for many employees in the country are enjoying, but new research shows it might not be as beneficial for your social skills. A poll by the online company ResumeBuilder.com found 1 in 4 remote workers say their social skills have declined since working from home. Researchers surveyed 1,000 U.S. workers and found that millennials are the age group struggling the most. The data found that many employees have difficulties with initiating conversations, maintaining eye contact, and participating in group discussions. The study also found 57% of responders say working from home has increased their sense of isolation. Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, how automatic emergency braking works to prevent accidents.
Today for the Chili 5K on New Year's.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a fairly mild day for us today for the second to the last day of 2024, but we are cooling down outside. We have a cold front that is shifting through, and as it does so, of course, we're going to start to cool down. Great shot. This is our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam looking downtown Joplin. Looking pretty good. Temperature is still not bad, but they will cool down into the 30s as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. It's 51 in Carthage. Miami is sitting at 48. 49 in Chanute, Nevada is sitting at about 48 degrees. Let's go outside. It's 51, but look at these winds. Northwest winds 15 to 20, but gusts over 30 miles per hour, and we're going to continue to see that as we go through the overnight hours. So these strong northwesterly winds, and then the gusts through the night near 30 most of the night. Now they'll slowly kind of tick down a little bit as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, but really Tuesday and Wednesday very identical. Just Tuesday is going to be windy. Wednesday will not. We have the clouds kind of working through some patches of drizzle, so you may get drizzle tonight. The more persistent rain is staying across central eastern Missouri, and then you mix with snow through parts of Nebraska and also Iowa. This whole system is going to slide just northeast of us, so it's not going to do much for us except cool us back down just a bit. Clouds roll in, drizzle into the morning hours, upper 30s. We get some sunshine by the noon hour, lower 40s, and I think most of us anywhere from about 42 to about 45 degrees in our southern counties. Colder Tuesday night. Good news here, New Year's Eve. It's not going to rain, it's not going to snow, but it is going to be cold. Temperatures into low to mid 20s. As we go into 2025, temperatures very similar to what we're going to see tomorrow. High temps right around 43 degrees. All right, day planner on New Year's Eve, 39 to start, 42 by noon. High temp, 43 degrees. We'll get some sunshine as we get into the afternoon hours. Then it starts to get a little bit tricky. We have a system, it's a weak one. It's going to slide through on Thursday, but we may get a few rain showers mixing with a few flakes of snow. Not a big deal, passes right on by. Friday looks good. Saturday looks good. Sunday is kind of iffy. We have a storm system coming in. Depending on how it tracks, if it tracks farther north, we get all rain. Still several days away. Tracks farther south, we get all snow. What's most likely going to happen is it will be a similar track to this, and we get snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain. So we're going to have to watch this as we get a little bit closer to the weekend. We'll talk more about this in the second half hour. All right, let's go 43 tomorrow, 43 on Wednesday, couple showers on Thursday, Friday cold, Saturday cold, then that bigger system moving in right by the second half of the weekend.
You know, I'm kind of excited to see some of these colder temperatures. Maybe not the ice or snow that may come with it, but these colder temperatures, I am excited.
You got about 3 weeks coming at you of it.
So, well, we'll look forward to it. Thanks, Doug. Coming up.
Strikes against Amazon grow larger just days before Christmas. I'm Max Gordon in the City of Industry, California. All of the latest coming up.
Vehicle owners are driving into the new year on a collision course with surging insurance rates. Costs have exploded in the last 2 years, and the trend is expected to continue. Many drivers are asking why. Fox Business correspondent Max Gordon explains from Los Angeles.
Auto insurance is getting expensive, and a lot of people are afraid of driving their premiums even higher. Here at AutoWorks Collision Center in Los Angeles, the owner tells me that a lot of folks are coming to him wanting to pay out of pocket rather than going through their insurance company simply because they don't want to raise their rates.
Now I have customers, returning customers of mine, that are willing to pay $4 or $5 grand out of pocket to avoid going through their insurance company. There's a fear of their premium going up, and there's a bigger fear of their insurance provider dropping them.
This as auto insurance prices have been soaring. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the cost of auto insurance is up 57% since January of 2021. According to NerdWallet, the average monthly cost for minimum coverage is $598 per year. The average yearly cost for full coverage, $2,281.
The rise in auto insurance has been driven by a number of factors, including rising accident frequency and severity. We've seen a significant increase after the pandemic. There have also been more fatalities and injuries, leading to increased attorney involvement in claims.
The uptick in price has also been driven by increases in the cost to repair vehicles because of supply chain issues, higher labor costs, and more technology being used in vehicles, making them tougher and costlier to repair. That's according to the Insurance Information Institute, which also projects that auto repair costs with labor included will rise 3.8% in 2025. But there's a big difference in the price of insurance based on state. According to NerdWallet, the costliest full coverage insurance in the nation is in Louisiana with a price tag of $4,000 per year. The cheapest is in Wyoming with a cost of around $1,100 per year. In Los Angeles, Max Gordon, Fox Business.
A new study from AAA shows significant improvements in the technology in cars for emergency brakes. 2024 car models tested at the same speed avoided every crash. However, research reveals these systems struggle at higher speeds. At 45 miles per hour, 3 out of 4 vehicles avoided a collision. But at 55 miles per hour, none were able to stop in time. Starting in 2029, federal regulations will require new cars and trucks to include emergency braking that works at speeds up to 62 miles per hour. Experts warn that meeting these new standards will be challenging. Automakers say current technology can't support these requirements and warn the changes could make vehicles more expensive. The automotive industry is asking the government to reconsider the new regulations. A special New Year gift for drivers. Gas prices are expected to drop in 2025 for the third straight year. Gas Buddy expects the national average for regular gas to fall to $3.22 a gallon. That's about 10 cents less than in 2024. According to Gas Buddy, if the projections hold, the typical household should spend about $2,250 on fuel next year. But gas prices could be disrupted by several factors, including President-elect Donald Trump's threatened tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Will Mike Johnson keep the gavel as Speaker? Opposition is growing. Plus a new debate over H-1B visas.
Reed, Mahomes, Kelsey.
The winter holiday season is almost over, but the Glide in Fort Scott is adding a few more dates to their schedule. The Glide is Fort Scott's synthetic ice skating rink. The extra hours are tomorrow from 4 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday from noon to 4 p.m. All skaters are welcome and entry will only cost $5. Your last opportunity to skate the Glide this season will be this weekend. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. We'll be right back.
Available for... You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
A major endorsement from President-elect Donald Trump days ahead of a big vote on Capitol Hill over who should be the next Speaker of the House. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has the latest from Washington.
On Capitol Hill, a pivotal vote is set for Friday. Congress, returning to Washington, must select a new House Speaker before any other order of business, including certifying the Electoral College vote for the presidential election 1 week from today. Monday, current Speaker Mike Johnson received a major endorsement, President-elect Donald Trump formally throwing his support behind Johnson. Writing on Truth Social, quote, "Speaker Mike Johnson is a good, hardworking, religious man. He will do the right thing, and we will continue to win. Mike has my complete and total endorsement."
This is the best gift he could have given him heading into the new year. I think it makes it far harder for members of Congress to vote against him.
But for Johnson, maintaining his role as Speaker is not a done deal. Some Republicans are expressing frustration with Johnson's role in the government funding deal days before Christmas. While the agreement kept the government open ahead of the Christmas holiday, the continuing resolution did not include an extension or elimination of the debt ceiling as called for by President-elect Trump.
I haven't publicly or privately committed yet. I do want to speak with the Speaker just to see what his plans are, because there are some issues that I think need to be worked out, specifically dealing with the budget issues.
On social media platform X, Speaker Johnson expressed optimism, thanking Trump for his support, adding, quote, "Together we will quickly deliver on your America First agenda and usher in the new golden age of America. The American people demand and deserve that we waste no time. Let's get to work." Trump is urging Republicans to support Johnson and not blow an opportunity for relief from the outgoing administration. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Meanwhile, debate surrounds H-1B visas, which bring skilled foreign workers to the U.S. Elon Musk defends the program, but critics say it hurts American workers. Trump has expressed support, calling himself a believer. South Korean officials say they will conduct safety inspections on all Boeing 737-800 aircrafts in the country's fleet as they try to find the cause of the plane crash, which killed 179 people on Sunday. This comes as South Korea's government grapples with a major political crisis. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has the story. A warning, some of the video you're about to see is graphic.
Investigators sorting through the deadliest air accident ever on South Korean soil. South Korea's airline Jeju Air's Boeing plane on its way from Bangkok made a crash landing at an airport in the southwestern part of the country. Its landing gear, engines, and other systems not working properly. The plane left the runway, crashing into a concrete barrier, exploding and breaking up.
The idea that the crew had to land and they were in essence powerless to stop the progress of that aircraft, and it hit that wall as it did, led to all of this incredible tragedy.
Only 2 flight crew members survived, 179 people killed, including all the passengers. The distraught families learned it could be days before the victims are identified and their remains returned.
I couldn't believe it.
This is a tragedy that shouldn't have happened.
South Korean officials say the airport warned the approaching plane of a possible bird strike. The plane's pilot then issued a mayday call and confirmed it was hit by birds. Experts say that shouldn't alone have caused the catastrophe.
We will take full responsibility and accept any necessary measures.
The plane's data black boxes were recovered. NTSB inspectors are going to assist in South Korea's probe. Boeing is also helping. The company has been plagued by safety and other issues in recent years, but the 737-800 model is considered safe and widely used. Still, Seoul says it will be looking at that aircraft type and all the country's aviation operations.
I offer my deepest condolences to those who tragically lost their lives.
This is South Korea is going through a political upheaval. The president and acting president have been impeached in recent weeks. There are concerns the government can't handle this national disaster. National, human, and possibly financial disasters. Boeing stock down around 2% today. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at your forecasting.
The NYPD is out in full force ahead of New Year's Eve and the celebrations here at Times Square. I'm Nate Foy in New York City. I have the details coming up.
Well, of course, it felt pretty good for us today. We went into lower 60s during the afternoon, and as of right now, temperatures starting to drop off. We've had a cold front roll through, so it's windy. Still feels pretty good outside. Nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam, downtown Joplin. All right, mid to upper 40s to lower 50s, so still temperatures overall are doing pretty good. However, as we go through the night, cooler air will start to work in. Look at the winds, 15 to 20, and gusts over 30 miles per hour. So these are going to stay fairly strong all night through the morning hours. We're going to have gusts at times 30 upwards to 35. Thankfully, the winds will calm down as we go through the day, and then by Wednesday, not too shabby across the region. All right, we do have clouds rotating through. We could get a little bit of drizzle tonight, but the more persistent rain is going to track through central Missouri. You can see snow in Nebraska, parts of Iowa, but this is going to slide just northeast of us. We are going to get a little drizzle in here. We'll start into the upper 30s, and then by noon, 40 to about 41 degrees. But look at this, sunshine returns. Again, very windy. High temps about 20 degrees cooler tomorrow, right around 43 degrees. Colder tomorrow night. We slide back all the way down into the mid-20s. Here's Wednesday morning, of course, January 1st. Wednesday afternoon, 42, 43 degrees once again. So very consistent over the next 2 days. 39 in the morning, 42 by noon, high temp, 43 degrees. Then we start to get some changes. We've got a weak system on Thursday. A couple rain showers, maybe a few flakes of snow, not a big deal. Passes on by. Friday's good. Saturday's good. Sunday gets interesting. Storm system rolls in. We got to see how this tracks. Still 5 days away, so lots going to change, especially when it gets into the Pacific Northwest. We'll get a lot more data. If it shifts farther north, mainly rain, farther south, mainly snow, or just a combination of everything, which is most likely. So rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. Cold Arctic air filters in behind it. So if we get a snowpack, or at least a little bit of snow, at least an inch of snow, it's going to be even colder by the time we head into Monday. Also with it, we have a lot of Arctic air that is building up across the northern plains. So here's this system. Arctic air pours in, retreats a little bit, and then it comes right back in late next week. So really, the next 3 weeks, overall, we're going to be below average. 43 tomorrow, 43 Wednesday. Few showers on Thursday, cold Friday, cold Saturday. Bigger system Sunday and Monday, and then 30s at best. 4 highs all next week.
You know, I think a lot of people are probably really excited that, you know, at least for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we're looking at some not terrible weather.
A lot of people are out, so you want the roads dry.
You know, and I think they'll be grateful for that. Well, thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, the Missouri Tigers face Iowa in the Music City Bowl. Plus, a Seneca High School softball player makes her college commitment. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Who's the best? Prove it at the Vita Nova.
Well, high school softball season in Southwest Missouri is still several months from returning, but this morning we get some recruiting news, that being that one of the top juniors in the area is committing to a Division I school. That's Seneca High School junior Abby Jamrose, who is verbally committed to play softball at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. She received second-team All-State honors as a pitcher her freshman season in 2022. And Jamrose, over her first 3 high school seasons playing with the Indians, she's also gotten it done at the plate and in the field. Jamrose will play for former MSSU assistant coaches Josie Topai and Cody Barham, who are both on the staff at UMKC. Well, several of our high school basketball teams are in action at various tournaments around the area. One of those taking place down in Washburn, Missouri. It's the Southwest High School Holiday Tournament. Tonight is the championship round. On the girls' side, Cassville wins 64-52 over Commerce. Lady Wildcats are tournament champions. They're off to a 9-2 start to the season. Commerce finishes in second place. The Tigers made it close down the stretch. They pulled to within 8 points after trailing by 22 at halftime. Boys' championship got a little bit of a late start. Didn't tip off till after 9 p.m., so they just got to halftime a few minutes ago. East Newton in front in that contest, 26-17. Monette had a strong finish, though, to the second quarter. That trimmed the deficit down to single digits. And, well, right now East Newton looks well on its way to finishing as tournament champs. Well, this afternoon is the final game of the 2024 college football season for the Missouri Tigers. A win would give Mizzou back-to-back seasons with double-digit wins, something they haven't accomplished in a decade. The Music City Bowl down in Nashville. Mizzou takes on Iowa. They're tied at 7 late in the first quarter, and Caden Weegan fields the kickoff from a yard deep in his own end zone, gets a block, finds a seam, and takes this all the way. 101 yards to the house. Hawkeyes up by 7 at that point. We go to the third quarter. Tigers trailing by 10, and off a play-action fake, Brady Cook unleashes it deep down the middle. Marquise Johnson makes the leaping catch. That drive would end in a touchdown. So we go ahead to the fourth quarter. They're tied at 24. Coach Drinkwitz sends out his kicker for a 56-yard field goal try. He had already made from 51 yards out, and this one right down the middle. Mizzou at that point leads by 3 late in the fourth quarter. On the ensuing drive, we're in the final minute of the game. Iowa faces a 4th down and 1 yard. Tries to get it with the quarterback sneak, and the Missouri defense stuffs it. That ends the game. The Tigers are 2024 Music City Bowl champions. They win at 27-24. They have back-to-back seasons with double-digit wins. And closing things out with a look over at pro football. They're into the fourth quarter in Santa Clara. The Detroit Lions lead the San Francisco 49ers 34-28. On Monday Night Football. The Lions are one of those teams that if they win next week, they could get the number 1 seed in the playoffs and get a bye. Over in the AFC, the Chiefs already have that, so they don't need to worry about that this week.
You know, I think it's this part of the season that you just got to watch. You don't really know what's going to happen. We have our projections, but, you know, everybody has their fingers crossed.
True.
Well, we'll be back with more news after this. Preparations are underway in Times Square and across the country for tomorrow night's New Year's Eve celebrations. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has more from New York City.
America's biggest New Year's Eve party is ready to welcome in 2025. Tomorrow night, roughly 1 million people will pack into Times Square to watch the ball drop. But before that, the NYPD is tightening up security. They've already put up a perimeter around Times Square, and those attending will need to enter at various checkpoints and leave their backpacks at home.
The public can expect to see a tremendous amount of police resources deployed throughout the area and across the city. That includes members of some of our elite specialized units.
Law enforcement across the country stepped up security at large gatherings after a Christmas market attack in Germany, where a car slammed into a crowd, killing 5 people and injuring more than 200 others. Homeland Security will be out in Times Square and at other big celebrations. And while they say there's no credible threat this year, a spokesperson tells Fox News, quote, "We continue to monitor for any changes and remain prepared to respond alongside our state, local, and federal partners." house. And nationwide, local officials are asking the public for help, reminding folks to stay vigilant when they're in those big crowds. And as always, if you see something, say something.
Bringing in the new year in community starts with keeping ourselves and one another safe. We all know that public safety begins with us.
The excitement certainly is building here in Times Square ahead of tomorrow night when the 12,000-pound crystal ball will drop at midnight. In New York City, Nate Foy, Fox News.
Coming up, we take a look at what series will be streaming in 2025. The new year. Rick Damagella brings us a preview of some of the biggest.
I'm on an exchange program. I'm starting to feel like something good's going to come out of this.
The White Lotus heads to Thailand. The third season of the Emmy Award-winning vacation destination drama lands February 16th on Max.
In Montana, there's a war over my family's land.
Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone prequel 1923 rides back onto screens in 2025. The new season of the Western drama debuts on Paramount Plus February 23rd.
Doctor, you need to get me home.
This might be the long way round.
While the time-traveling Doctor Who can arrive whenever the character wants, the new season of the sci-fi series is scheduled to debut on Disney Plus at a future date in the new year.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stranger Things Season 5.
Stranger Things debuted back in July of 2016. The fifth and final season of Netflix's pop culture-defining series is slated to arrive in 2025.
The old world was rigged, designed to rip us apart.
Start spreading the news. Maggie and Negan are back. The second season of The Walking Dead Dead City is scheduled to stream on AMC Plus in the spring. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a 10 wreck at the Cincinnati Zoo taking a dust bath. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.